Welcome to Tia's Table, where we talk about making fitness and wellness doable for busy women like you and me. Looking for healthy meal ideas, workout motivation, and good conversation? Don't worry, I got you, girl. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's have some girl talk. Hey girl, hey, welcome back to another episode of Tia's Table. I'm Tia, a certified group fitness instructor and nutrition coach. I help women develop healthy habits that align with their health, wellness, and fitness goals. If you or someone you know is interested in living a healthier lifestyle, you can reach out to me via email at tiavfitness@gmail.com, or you can do that by DMing me on Instagram at tiavfitness. I figured today we would do something a little bit different because, to be honest with you, summertime, it's hard for me to make my way to that closet. Even though it's a clean closet now, it's hard for me to make my way there and be in there for like an hour and 30 minutes while the summer is going on the other side of my closet door. So I figured today we could do an episode that involves a little bit of cooking, a little bit of talking, and we'll just see how we like these type of calls, girl. So let's get right into what we're making today. I talked about this recipe on a couple of the most recent episodes. It is definitely the stewed okra and tomato situation with the potatoes and the clams and the deliciousness of it all. And so I'm like, let's just walk ourselves through step by step, making this delicious dish. Since in my mind anyway, since I was making this anyway, this is a much quicker way to get the recipe out to you guys. And because I am in the kitchen, you are going to hear noises that you would not typically hear if I were in the closet. So there might be children, there might be dogs and their toys. Girl, to be honest with you, I don't even know. But let's just give this a go and see how it comes out. So far I have already fried a piece of bacon until it was like done and crispy, and I set that aside. Right now I am peeling my garlic. I'm doing that by like doing the whole mash thing with the side of the knife. And I'm actually going to put my garlic into a processor to like mince it really good, because I'm going to mince that and my shallots all at once. And I do have some leftover fennel from the farmer's market, and I'm going to use that in this too. I didn't use that in the other pot of this soup that I made before because I didn't have it. But now that I have some and I just don't want it to go bad, I'm like, oh, let's throw that in there. It can only enhance the flavor, one would hope. If it is a mistake, I will know it immediately. But in my mind, I'm thinking that can't be a bad addition to this. This ends up having a very, like a very Southern flavor profile at the end of it. It has that Creole spicy goodness that I always like from something. When you think about eating like a gumbo or an etouffee or something like that. Red beans and rice, that's probably a better one. It reminds me a lot of red beans and rice, just without the sausage or the beans. But the rest of the flavor is definitely there. I don't put bell peppers in this, but if I were making red beans and rice, I think the recipe I use for that does have bell pepper, which I'm growing bell peppers outside on my front porch. I have several of them. They're huge. They're like a great size, but I've been trying to figure out when to bring them inside, and I don't think they're ready. I think they can get a little bit bigger before I harvest them, but I'm very excited about them. And I think when I do harvest those, I'm going to make a roast, because I don't care if it's summertime. When you have organic, homemade, grown in your own yard bell peppers, I feel like you have to make something very bell pepper forward, like a roast, or maybe like a red beans and rice. We'll see if I'm in the mood for that kind of flavor profile after I eat this whole pot of soup all over again. And see, for this, I think it was 7 or 8 cloves of garlic in here, I think, but I'm going to do 2 more just to make it an even 10. Because that's what my spirit is telling me to do. So let's do another 2. And someone listening to this is like, isn't that a lot of garlic? And I say to that, can you ever? Is there ever such thing as too much? Especially when you're making a pot of something. that garlic has to stretch far, wide, and thin all across each serving of this soup. And so you want it to be, good. And this is one of those things that's going to taste better the next day. I mean, it'll hit today, but it's going to be like super good tomorrow. So let's get this last piece of garlic in the processor. Then I'm going to do some shallots. And I'm trying to determine how much of that I'll do, because I do have the fennel today, and I don't know how strong of a flavor that's going to be. But normally I would just peel this whole shallot, and I might just do that, right? Might just go ahead and peel it all and do it all. Because the worst thing that can happen is that, I don't even know, the worst thing that could happen, I think, is pretty much nothing. I think these things will all go together really well. So let's peel the shallot, and the shallot smells so good. I don't know how people cook without onions and things. People that don't like them, I don't know how they do it. And I think one of the secrets to doing this is you do use a food processor to get such a fine chop on it that it pretty much just melts once it's cooked, and you don't necessarily feel it when you're eating. Like, it's not a big part of your bite. At least that's what I tell myself, and that's how I get these children to eat stuff, because I mince it to death, and then it melts, and then it's kind of like, And I think it also doesn't hurt that when you start any recipe with a little bit of bacon fat, which I have, because I literally only fried one slice of bacon. And for somebody, they're going to be like, oh, that's not enough. But for me, I'm like, nope, I just need just a little bit of flavor. I don't need a whole bunch of bacon fat, just a little. So we'll chop this shallot, get it in my little processor. And this processor is one of those little teeny tiny ones. It's like the little teeny tiny white one. You can get them for like under $20 pretty much anywhere. I probably got mine during a Black Friday sale at BrandsMart for $10. Probably. That's what I think I remember. So let's go ahead and add in what we can of the fennel. And I'm adding the bottom part of the fennel to this, which now that I've chopped off the top part, it looks like a lot. It looks like a lot. So maybe let's do a quarter of it. It smells really good. It does. So let's see. So I'm going to do about a quarter of the bottom of it. Give it a rough chop. And I'm going to process this, and then we'll add it to our pot. Okay, so I've gotten everything minced up really, really fine. I spared you from the noise of the little food chopper because it sounds like it's as old as it is. Like, I probably should replace it and get a new one. But also, I feel like part of the charm of being a budding and emerging matriarch is using the things that are old. Because to me, I'm like, my food has been coming out pretty magnificent with these older things. Why would I get new things? Why? So we've got our shallot, our garlic, and our fennel, which some of the fennel did not get as fine of a chop as we would like. So I will take that out. I need a wooden spoon. Okay. So I'm just digging all of the stuff out of here. Getting all of my little bits and pieces into the pan. What I love about stuff like this is that it is pretty easy to make. I feel like it's like a very traditional Southern dish, which I always love that because it makes me feel like I'm staying connected to my roots and my people. But then I also like that it's just good for you. And I know someone's going to be like, oh, but you put bacon fat in it. And it's kind of like, girl, it's the fat from one piece of bacon. That is not going to make or break nobody's fitness journey. Okay, so I'm going to quickly chop up the rest of this fennel. And just to give you an idea of how old my chopper is, I'll do a brief little sound sample for you, and then I'll put you on hold and I'll be right back. But listen to this. Doesn't it sound old? Okay, so now let's go ahead and start cooking this in our bacon fat. And I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to our pan just to help it swish around a little bit better. And I use whatever olive oil is on sale at the store within reason. Like there are certain brands that I won't use, but for the most part, if it's a good quality olive oil, I will use that. But I do normally let the sales kind of drive my purchasing decision. I try not to be too committed to one brand over the other when it comes to like avocado oil and olive oil. Okay, so this is swishing around quite nicely. So I'm gonna do a nice little sprinkle of nature's seasoning, because I do believe in seasoning as you go. And then it gets to a point where I'll stop and let things just kind of develop. And then I'll start tasting and seasoning to taste at the end. But in the beginning, I do kind of like to salt and pepper each little step to help those flavors build on themselves. Now, the little top part of this fennel I do want to use, but I think I'm going to wait and chop that and sprinkle that in at the end. I think I will, because that smells really, really good. Okay, I'm going to turn my stove up. I'm a low and slow kind of girl, but today I need to cook like I actually have to serve dinner, because it's already what time? 4:30. Yes. And they will be hungry probably before this is really even ready. Okay. So while that is doing what it's going to do, I'm going to season my chicken and get it in the oven, because I will be serving my okra and tomatoes with a little bit of potatoes and clams. But I don't think it'll be a full-on soup this time. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to put that much broth in it this time. I think I'm going to try to keep it to being more of a side that I can serve over rice. Pray for me, though, because I feel like it's going to turn left and turn into a soup. But while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and season up some chicken. Somebody needs to unload this dishwasher and load it back up. And I feel like that somebody is about to be me, because I don't have the patience to wait for somebody else to do it. And to be honest, my daughter normally does it and she's at a friend's house. So, can you hear my things sizzling? Oh, and they smell so good. Okay, let me get this chicken pan out. Okay. So let's season our chicken. Now, this chicken is not really anything special. At Kroger, they have like packs of drumsticks for like $5. And so whenever I see those, I always buy one and pop it in the freezer outside in the garage. And that way, whenever we get ready for chicken, or if I'm making something and I feel like I need to serve it with some type of meat, I'll go out there and I will get one of these packs of chicken. But to be honest with you, some of the people that live here don't even like drumsticks. And to that I say, how is it that one piece of chicken tastes different from the other when they all have the same seasoning on them and the same person is cooking them? I do not know, to be honest. But yeah, they do not like drumsticks. Some of them do not. I watched Straw, the movie with Taraji P. Henson, Sherry Shepherd, and Tiana Taylor yesterday. I did not even want to watch it. It was not my pick. I knew that movie was going to be too much. But because I had forfeited my chance to use the remote, that movie was selected, and let me tell you, it was a hard watch from beginning to end. That lady, that book, remember if we all read that book as kids, A Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day? That's what she had in that movie. And it never let up. There was never a bright spot. She never got any relief. She never got a second to breathe. It was one bad thing after the next. And I don't want to spoil the movie for anybody. So I'm not sure if I should talk about how it ended. But what I will say is that even at the end, I thought surely like there's going to be some type of reprieve. Like we're going to get to see something good happen to her before this movie goes off. And absolutely not. We did not. We did not. The only thing good about the ending of that movie is the fact that the lady was still alive. Because truly, had Tyler Perry killed her off at the end of that movie, because of how the rest of the movie had gone, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if she had not made it. If it had ended kind of like set it off with some of the characters dying, that would have made perfectly good sense to me. Because the movie was very just hard to watch from beginning to end. From the beginning to the end, it was just hard. Everything that could have gone wrong for that lady went wrong for her, all in the span of a day. And really, at the end of the movie, you realize that the movie is not even about what maybe you thought it was going to be about. Which I think might have been the purpose of the trailer being how it was. Because I thought that movie was going to be kind of like the woman version of John Q, the movie with Denzel Washington. But as it turns out, it was not at all like John Q. It really wasn't about anything I thought it was going to be about. But you don't know that until the very, very end of the movie. And that just made me tired. And people are online debating about, Tyler Perry and the stuff he puts out. And I think he has found his niche. Like, I think he definitely makes movies for people who feel like they have experienced some of the stuff that he sees in his movies. But even if that's the case, I'm like, don't those people want to see a happy ending sometimes? Or is that's just how it's going to be? Yeah. What did you think about the Tyler Perry movie? You have to say it closer to my microphone.
I like it.
Because he picked it. He picked that movie, my podcast. He picked that movie, and I sat there with the attitude the whole time and kind of hate watched it because I could feel that it was going to be like exactly like what it was. But for the people online saying that they've experienced days like that, and that makes me, it confirms for me that his projects do have a target audience. But I'm like, even if that is the case, wouldn't you want some form of escapism in the stuff that you watch and consume? Like, I'm just assuming that. Like, even when I have been in the worst times of my life, I don't think I would have wanted to sit down and watch a movie of my life when I have been at my worst. Like, and I think that's what movies like The Best Man and some of these other really good movies, why they are cult classics and why they appeal to so many people. And that is because it is a form of escapism. Like, I'm never going to be sitting in a bar or whatever and Lance Sullivan walk in there. It's never going to happen. It is a form of escapism for me. Cookie, what is your problem? Cookie, no. So yeah, I don't get that people actually feel like these are the types of movies they want to see, even though they are real depictions of people's lives. I'm like, yes, we know that people have it bad, but do we have to keep watching it on TV? But someone else online had a good point about that. And they were like, well, y'all don't say that about shows like Power and P-Valley and all of that. And I'm like, well, no, I do. Like it had gotten to a place where I had kind of stopped watching any of that, like BMF, P-Valley. Like if they don't ever bring P-Valley back, I'm not going to be mad about it. Number one, it's been too long of a break since the last episode came out. So I feel as if they have kind of lost some people with the storyline there. Like people probably don't even remember it anymore. Okay, so our onions, fennel, and garlic is nice and toasty the way that we would like it. Should we put a little tablespoon of butter in it? I feel like the ancestors are speaking to me and they are saying, go with it. I'm going to get some chicken broth and I use Swanson's low sodium. Should that matter if I'm also adding butter? It probably shouldn't, but it's literally a tablespoon. You have to do a little bit of give and take in the cooking of it all. I'm like, do a little give and take. So we'll add that little tablespoon of butter and swish, swish, swish. Let that melt in there. Then we'll add the chicken broth. So back to the chicken. I'm seasoning both sides of the chicken with nature seasoning. I like nature seasoning because it's salt, pepper, garlic, celery, salt. I think it's like all the things all in one. So I like using it when I cook just about anything. And then I just layer it with something else. So like today I'm going to layer it with a caramelized onion seasoning from Kinder's. You get that nice and covered on both sides. Okay, our butter is melting, so we're back at the pot. And the chicken is probably going to be in the oven for well over an hour, which gives this side, I'm trying not to call it a soup, which will give this plenty of time to like cook and come together. So let's pour in a little bit of chicken broth. And right now I pour in just enough to give the ingredients a little swimming pool, just until that sizzle stops. And then we will let the things infuse the broth. So we'll let that cook for just a second. And then I'm going to start adding in my tomatoes. And I do tomatoes, then potatoes, and then I do my okra last because you don't want the okra to be like overcooked. And it cooks really quick. So I had that last. So let's grab our Kinder's and season this up. Let's see. Yes, one of my kids is watching a movie over there. That's the one y'all hear screaming and playing. One of my kids is upstairs, either on FaceTime or on the video game, or perhaps it is both. And my other child is at a friend's house up the street. And the dog is somewhere being nosy. I don't know where he is, actually. Okay. Yep. Nope. I see his tail. So he was over there minding his own business and I bothered him. Look at that. Okay. So let's get our chicken into the oven. I do 400 degrees. And the time right now is 4:44. We'll just go ahead and say it's 4:45. And I will let that chicken cook probably until like 6. By 6 o'clock, it should be nice and crispy and brown on the outside, but nice and juicy on the inside. And it should be ready to come out. Okay, so our chicken broth mix with our stuff is simmering. So I'm going to turn that down a little bit lower so we can knock some of that simmer off. Let's get these tomatoes chopped and into our pan. I'm also a clean as you cook kind of girl. That's probably the millennial in me, because I'm sure, as most of you grew up, if you were in the kitchen and you had to either cook or help cook or whatever, that was probably one of the main things people kept repeating. You need to clean while you cook. That way at the end, you don't have a big mess. So I try to do that. I try to clean as I cook so that at the end, I too do not have a big mess, which is harder to do when you are holding the phone. Let's see. Okay, so let me get these tomatoes, put them in a strainer and get them nice and clean. And I typically would use like big beefsteak tomatoes, but at the farmer's market, they had really pretty vine ripened tomatoes that were still really firm. And it's important to me that when I cook this particular dish, I like using tomatoes that are like red, ripe, and pretty, but still pretty firm. Like I don't want a soft tomato for this, because I want the tomato to actually cook like in my pot. I don't want to put it in there already kind of mushy, which is why I don't use canned tomatoes, which is nothing wrong with using canned tomatoes. If you're going to make this, you can absolutely use a canned tomato. I just prefer to use fresh tomatoes, because once it cooks down, you won't know where it came. Well, I'm going to take that back. You probably will know where it came from based on the freshness of it. But somebody who doesn't really know wouldn't know where it came from. So here we go. But yeah, I watched Straw this weekend. What else have I seen? I don't think I've seen anything else. I've been reading this month's book. It's the June Pouring Over Books book club book of the month was Invisible Life by Elin Harris. And I just finished it today. First of all, let me pat myself on the back and celebrate myself for finishing the book way before the deadline for us to be finished. So that's growth on my behalf as a reader. But second of all, that story had me hooked from the beginning. That was some good storytelling. And I mean, I was rooting for all of the characters. There was not one character that I kind of disliked. Maybe there was one character that did something that I didn't like, but I can't sit here and say that like there was a character that I even like kind of hated in this book, which is pretty big. In the beginning of this story, Raymond is dating a girl named Selah. I don't know how she pronounces her name. I'm going to say Selah because I know somebody with a child, and that's how they pronounce that little girl's name, is Selah. So they're dating, Selah and Raymond. Raymond encounters a football player named Kelvin, who basically puts the moves on him and makes him realize that he likes boys, right? So he goes through basically his whole life for the most part in this book. Apparently this book is part of a series. I will not be reading the other books in the series. So I'll just keep my opinions to what I've actually read, even though I've already asked about how his story ends, and I know. But like in this book, he seems to toggle back and forth between whether or not he likes girls or boys. He gets involved with people and ends up having like real true feelings for them, and kind of just doesn't know, what to do. He doesn't know what to do. And I was rooting for Raymond. I rooted for him the whole time I was reading to make a choice. And the choice that I wanted him to make is not the choice that he made. Like in the end of the book, spoiler alert, he chooses to be with Nicole, a woman who's like a Broadway actress and a singer. He decides to be with her, but I think he only chose her because he could not have who he really wanted. And that was a man named Quinn that's married with 2 kids, which I know is very realistic. Like that too is someone's real story out there. But I don't know. That book made me just feel bad for all the women that were involved. Because I'm like, y'all are in relationships with these men. You don't even know that they are secretly in relationships with each other. And in the meantime, like y'all's little hearts are going to get broken. And that definitely happens all throughout the book. So, but it was good. Like it wasn't the story wasn't written in a way that made you hate anybody or upset with anybody. It was just kind of like it's kind of just like what it was. And you almost felt bad for Raymond that he couldn't just make a decision and stick with it for all of the reasons. For his family, for his job, maybe for even how he saw himself and the life he thought he would have. I don't know. I just know that it was a page turner, and I'm so glad that that was the book of the month, because I probably would have never read that book on my own, because I'm definitely like a Kennedy Ryan, Tia Williams, Emily Henry type reader. Back in the day, I used to read Eric Jerome Dickey. I think I have almost every book that he has written, and I've been trying to decide if I should take those to Goodwill or just take them back down to the basement until I know what to do with them. Right now, they're in a stack on the floor of my room, because I brought them upstairs when I thought I needed them for book club. But now that I know that I don't need them anymore, we've already read our Eric Jerome Dickey book, I can take that back downstairs. I used to read Terry McMillan, even though I had never read Waiting to Exhale. So we read that book last month, and that was very different, reading that book and knowing how the book is depicted in a movie. And I think that's why that movie was so good, because it was a lot like the book. So people should also take note of that. If you're going to remake or make a book into a movie, keep it close to the story that was in the book, because normally the book is better than the movie. And in the case of Waiting to Exhale, I think that they kept it so true to the story of the book. That's why that movie was so successful. That and the soundtrack was really a big part of that story. I'm still chopping tomatoes. This was my last one. Now for mine, just now, I think I did 6 tomatoes, 6 or 7. I don't know. I can't remember, but I got a pot full. I have a pot full of tomatoes. And so those are going to cook. I'm going to turn my pan back up and let those start to cook. I'm going to cover my pan so that those can start to get mushy and cook all the way down. Let me rinse off my little cutting board and start chopping up tomatoes. Not tomatoes, potatoes. So, yeah, we've read that, and I'm about to start our next book for book club. It's the July book, and I'm very nervous about reading that book so early, but I also want to read, Kennedy Ryan's Can't Get Enough. I want to read that while we're at the beach, and we leave for the beach in a couple weeks. But by the time we get back, it'll be time to start the July book. So I don't know, I might renew it and then read it in real time. I don't know. I'm trying to decide.
Is that okra?
Yeah, this is going to be okra and stewed tomatoes. Are you excited?
Yep. And tell your folks don't be giving Tyler Perry a hard time.
No. You enjoy, but you don't mind a hard watch. That movie was hard for me to watch.
I almost teared up.
On which part?
On all of it. I mean, people are actually going through that. Our black mothers are going through that, so we need to have some empathy.
I do have empathy. I just don't want to watch it. I have empathy to it happening in real life. Yeah. I don't necessarily want to watch that on TV.
We're getting evicted every day. Think
Yes.
about it. All right, baby.
Okay, enjoy your workout. Yeah, I don't care. I feel the same way about all his stuff. Because isn't Beauty and Black Tyler Perry?
Yeah, it was scandalous,
Yeah.
but they all over the place. They had all.
Yeah, so see, but that's what he does. He does too much mess.
I'll put this out when I get back.
What? Oh my gosh. Thank you. Now watch Cookie bark. And if he doesn't, it'll surprise me. Oh, where'd your boyfriend go, Cookie? You're sad, so he's just gonna sit there and be sad. Normally he barks whenever he leaves. And I don't know if Cookie is barking like bye then, or if he's barking like don't go, like don't leave me here with her and these kids. But he normally does bark. Okay, so I'm at a good place with this, and I'm also debating as to whether or not I should make cornbread to go with this. I feel like I should because they would love that. But we'll see. We'll see if I run out of steam here at the end. I do have the option of warming up another oven, so maybe I will do it and make them some cornbread. Because the last time I made this, I made it with focaccia bread, and it was really good. And I had actually given some to my dad, and my dad was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. It was, see, this is how parents do you. It was so good, with the bread that you made. But when I had my second serving of it the next day, I had it with a cornbread muffin, and it was just way better. And I'm like, yeah, of course it was way better with that cornbread muffin. What's going on?
We need more toilet paper.
Oh, upstairs, yeah. There you go, buddy. So, yes. Okay, but back to what I've been watching. Yeah, that's really it. I feel like the episode before this, I do a pretty good recap on everything I've seen so far. And I haven't seen anything worth going into. I think Straw was definitely the straw that broke my Tyler Perry's back. So I probably won't be able to do him no more. Probably won't be able to do him anymore. If you have not seen Sinners is now out on TV, and it's just so good that I want to make time to sit down and watch it again. I mean, we've already watched it at home again, but I'm like, oh, I need to see it one more time. That movie was really that good to me. And I don't know if that's because Michael B. Jordan does such a good job, or if the storytelling there was just so good, or maybe it's a combination of the two. But that movie was good enough that I would seriously sit down and watch it at least one more time this summer, when I can like actually sit and enjoy and like take things in and look at it for more than just, like the movie watching experience. And I feel like it's hard to get everything in when you're seeing something for the first time. Then the second time you go back and watch it, you'll see or notice something else. And there have been a couple things said online about that movie that I'm like, oh, I want to go back and see if I noticed that. Like someone was talking about the fact that, was it Smoke? I think Smoke doesn't really smile during the whole movie. And then somebody else came back and said, no, he actually smiles twice. And I'm like, oh, let me go back and watch that and see if I notice any of that. But anyway, we're at a good place in our meal. Things are simmering. I need to chop potatoes. The chicken is roasting. So I think this is a good place to put like a little pin in this. And then we'll come back when it's time to add potatoes. I'm about to clean them and start chopping them up. And once I add them to the pan, we'll come back and start doing some flavor testing to see kind of where our broth is headed. I try not to add my Creole seasoning until right at the end because it is so strong and it can be very salty. And if you're not careful, that will overpower your dish if you start using that stuff too early. So I'm gonna let things cook, let them do what they do, and then we'll come back when it's time to start enhancing what we've got going on right here in a minute. All right, so our potatoes are clean and ready. I did little fingerling potatoes so that I wouldn't have to do like as much chopping. And I'm basically doing little slices of them. So it's like little dime size slices of potatoes, and I'm adding them directly to the pan. At this point, our tomatoes have made a nice brothy, saucy looking mixture. So things are headed in the right direction. And you know, when you don't write down recipes and then you come back and you try to like make it again, there's always that little bit of nervousness that like, oh my gosh, is this going to be as good as it was the first time I made it? Because I didn't write down what I did. I just know it was so good when I made it. So that's kind of what I'm experiencing right now in this moment. Wondering if this is going to be just as good as it was the last time, seeing as how I'm having to make some changes and I've done some additions and all of that. So we shall see. That beep, if you just heard it, was the other oven. Let me know that if I wanted to, I could put cornbread in there. So we're going to make some cornbread mix here in a minute. And I will not be making that cornbread from scratch. I will be using a box of Jiffy and adding some Crisco to it so that it's nice, light, and fluffy and airy and so yummy and good and moist. But we will not be doing that from scratch. Not today. Not today. Our trip to the beach is in a couple of weeks, and something that I don't hear enough people talking about, or a store, I guess, that I don't hear anybody talking about, but I know I get their ads all the time. And I don't know if I get their ads because I'm actually buying stuff from them or what, but why don't y'all ever talk about Cupshe and how affordable and good those swimsuits are? Like, they have a nice, strong hold to them. They wash and wear really well, like season after season. Like, the quality of their swimsuits is really up there. And the prices are not bad. Like, the swimsuits, if you get a 2-piece, you can opt to get like your top in one size and your bottom in another size. But I don't ever hear y'all talking about Cupshe. Is Cupshe like not something that all of us know about? Hopefully we do know about them, because they are pretty incredible for, for like the swimsuit season. I just ordered my daughter swimsuits from them because she loves her a good, cute, sporty little one piece. I go up there, I find things that look like for something that's for teenagers, which some of their stuff can be a little on the matronly side, but for the most part, their stuff is really cute. And if you do a good enough search, you can find stuff up there for younger people. Her swimsuits are really cute. I don't know. Yeah, well, she's definitely not going to let me share pictures of her, nor would I want to. But the swimsuits that I got for her, one of them was like lime green. One of them was like a pretty purple with like a gold leaf print on it. One of them is like a denim type vibe. Like, it looks like a cute little denim swimsuit. I don't know. She got some cute stuff. And that reminded me to tell everybody here that, like, you know what? Cupshe is really that girl for the summertime. If you need a swimsuit and you don't want to spend $8 million on one, it is definitely a step up, in my opinion, from like Shein and some of the other places that we will get bathing suits from. The quality is just so much better. And you can order them on Amazon too, but I like ordering directly from their website. So we've got almost all of the potatoes in here. I'm going to do a quick stir and see if I want to add more tomatoes. And I think I will. because once I add more broth to this, that won't be enough. And I still have to add my clams and the clam juice from the can of clams. So yeah, let's do some more potatoes. The purple potatoes that came in that bag, because like I said, I got fingerling potatoes because they were only $3.99 at Kroger right now. They were one of the weekly deals. I'm gonna save the purple ones and have them for breakfast. I'll air fry them because they're already clean and like ready to go. And typically what I do for that is I'll drop them in like a little foil pouch, season them up really good, sprinkle them with some olive oil and toss them, or I'll spray them with avocado oil if I have like the spray. And you just air fry them for about 15 minutes and they are normally really good to go. Very quick and easy for breakfast time. I absolutely love cooking. Love it, love it, love it. When I'm in the mood for it, you know? Like if no one has gotten on my nerves and like I've had a good day and I'm making something that I'm excited about, then I love doing it. I hate cooking when I'm not in the mood. And I think that's the case for most people. It's like if you ask me what's for dinner, I immediately don't want to cook. Immediately do not want to do it. But if no one asks me about food all day and I have been thinking about cooking something, it is like such a joy to me to come in here and make things that they actually think are also really good. Yeah. And cooking also makes me feel just so much closer to like the women in my family. So, because all of them are like really great cooks. So I'm really just trying to keep the recipes moving along, to be honest with you. And I have kind of gotten to a place where it's not that I don't want to go out to eat, but I have pretty much gotten to a place where I'm like, I only want to go out to eat out of necessity. I really don't care. I really don't care how green the grass wall is, how good people say the drinks are. I don't know. I think I've gotten to a place now where I'm just kind of like going out to eat kind of a bit of a break, or at least I am until we go to the beach. Because sometimes I'll go out to eat and I'll be honest with you, I'm not overly impressed. And I think that's because I do be cooking good stuff at home. Truly, me and my mom have this conversation all the time that when you are someone who can cook a decent meal, that you really have to be going to like a nice place to make going out to eat worth it. Which, you know, I think is a real thing. But see, to me, nice places are either steakhouses or Italian restaurants. For the most part, they tend to be. And I'm really not too pressed to go to nobody's steakhouse. I'm giving those a break, and I've talked about that before. Oh, our chicken looks good. I've talked about that before. Giving those kind of places a break. And I mean, eating Italian food out never really was my thing anyway. Like it didn't appeal to me. So just in general, that, and I think once you start eating pretty clean, your desire for that stuff does wane a little bit. I'm not saying it goes away altogether, but you do get to a place where you're kind of just like it's like a Kanye shrug. Like, I could go out to eat, but do I really want to? No. And when I do, it's because I was truly craving something. So I was truly craving it. And the things that I crave aren't even things that you get from a nice place. Like I might crave Chinese takeout. And if I get Chinese takeout, I'm not getting it from the nice little bougie place that's in some strip mall. I'm getting it from the little rinky-dink shady place that's going to give me a greasy bag. Where, you know, it's got good customer service. But, you know, like it's not going to be from one of those other kinds of places. Like my Chinese food will definitely have MSG in it. And I'm better off for it. Like it's going to taste amazing every single time. And if I'm not getting Chinese food, then I probably am going to get Mexican food. And I have my favorite Mexican restaurants that I like that we go to right around here. My favorite places tend to be the places that have a good margarita sangria cocktail mixed together. That's normally called a swirl, I think, at most places. If I'm not mistaken, is that what they call it? They might call it something else. I don't know. But that cocktail, yes, if they've got that on the menu, chances are that's where you will find me if I'm going out to eat and it's for Mexican food. Because I'm definitely going to want one of those. Trying to think. I'm loading the dishwasher while everything is cooking. Because, of course, other people walk by this all day and no one else thought to load it up. And my daughter has already texted me asking me for an extended stay at her friend's house. To which I said yes, because I'm like, dinner is not ready. So there's no point in you coming home early. So, girl, get your best teenage life up the street. But yeah. So yeah, I really don't eat out that much anymore. And to be honest, I used to eat out so much. Eating out was definitely keeping me from being where I wanted to be, like goal wise. I know it was because I was eating out too much. I was meeting everybody for lunch all the time, like several times a week. I was a lady who lunched, and I did. I enjoyed that phase of my life and all of that. But now, these days, I'm like, nope. If we hang out these days, it's got to be going to do something. Well, it doesn't have to be going to do something. I will come to a dinner. Like we had cookbook club. I came to that. Everything was made with love by somebody that attended the dinner. That dinner was really great. Where else have I been? The kids wanted to go to a Mexican restaurant to celebrate the end of the school year, so we did that. We eat out every Friday, but I don't always eat out with them. This particular Friday I did, though, and I got Chipotle because I had been craving it and because I had a free entree in the app. So I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and use my free entree. Where else have we been out to eat? So see, yeah, not many places because I just haven't been in the mood for that. And I think that has a lot to do with the results that I've been seeing, number one. And number two, my attempt to have somewhat of a balance to all that I'm doing. Because it is summertime. And I'm like, we do go to the beach in a couple weeks, which means I will be eating out every day, all of the meals for a whole week. Now, sometimes when we're at the beach, we'll do snacks like in the room. So like if the kids get hungry or like it's a rainy day or something like that, we'll have stuff in our little condo that we can heat and eat or whatever. But for the most part, yeah, we're eating out the whole time. Because I do not believe, I don't care where we stay and where we're staying, it has a full kitchen fully equipped for you to cook. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. If I'm on vacation, I don't want to have to touch a stove because I do that every day when we're home. So if I'm on this trip and I end up having to cook anything, is it really a vacation? I don't know. I don't know if it's really a vacation for me. So try to wait that out. And I already know where my kids are going to want to eat. The beach has a really good burger place that we love. And those burgers hit. They are so good. So I'm excited about eating there. I normally get the falafel sandwich there. And I'm excited about it. So we'll eat there. There's a Mexican restaurant down there that does have my swirly margarita. And the food there also happens to hit each and every summer. So we'll eat there. There's a seafood spot that we love. There's a pizza place that we love. Like because we go every summer, we've got our little places like down where we know we go and it's going to be good and it makes us all very happy. So I'm excited about that week of eating. I don't know if it's going to leave my stomach in shambles. I am worried about that because nothing is worse than being on vacation and your stomach just not being able to fully adjust. But I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best because it is yet to come for me and my appetite. But yeah, being at home, I think cutting out, eating out really did me some kind of good. And I think it's the only way I've been able to maintain my results because I'm still eating. I'm still eating and enjoying things. It's just the things that I make at home. And I have not been holding back from having something if I wanted it. Like we had an Oreo cake. I made an Oreo cake the other week That was really good. I haven't really made too many sweets, but like I've been like cooking, like making pastas and making bread and like all that stuff. And I've been eating all that stuff. I've still been working out, but I have also been eating that stuff, not really weighing it or portioning it out. And I'm very happy with how that is all coming together. So I say all that to say, you can still eat pretty much whatever you want and still be on your fitness journey. It just might look and feel a little different. And sometimes I think mentally we have to get maybe used to doing different. And I think that's the case for many of us. Like you have to kind of get used to not being so strict on yourself and just trusting that the process is going to work out as long as you know you're not doing nothing super crazy. Like I'm not telling anybody they can eat McDonald's every day and, girl, keep working at it, it'll be fine. No. I'm saying, you're making your food at home, or even if you're going out to eat, whatever it is, finding a balance that your body agrees with will do you some kind of good. And it's good for everybody to know what that balance is. So I found my balance for the moment. We all know that it can and it will change the older you get. But for now, I feel like I found what kind of works for me and agrees with me at a place that I'm happy with. So I'm trying to maintain that. And part of maintaining that is making sure I am not a lady who lunches every day and all the time, which part of that does make me low key kind of sad. But another part of me is like, but it's saving you money and it's helping you maintain all the things. So there's that. I do have some green tomatoes that I might slice and fry. I know I need to do something with them. My daughter accidentally knocked over my tomato plant while she was walking the dog. And when she did that, it knocked off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tomatoes. And I need to cook them, I think, before they go bad. Okay, our potatoes are cooking. I feel like our soup is at a really good place. The next thing that I'm going to add to the pot is definitely going to be the clams and the clam juice, because that's going to also add flavor to it. I'm just trying to wait and let these potatoes cook a little bit more before we add that to it. And after we add that to the pot and we let things cook a little bit more, then I'm going to go ahead and add the okra and some of the fennel greens. And then we are going to be very close to being almost done with this. The chicken looks great. It probably has another 30 to 40 minutes to cook. Oh, wait, no. We put that chicken in there at 4:45. Yeah. So it's only been 45 minutes. Yeah, it's got some time. So I think this is a good spot, a good moment to wash the couple of dishes that I have in the sink so that my sink is free and clear. And I will go ahead and make my Jiffy cornbread mix, which I follow the instructions on the box exactly as they have it for Johnny cake. The only thing that I do is I add Crisco. So I'll do the egg, I'll do the milk, I'll stir it, but I'll add the egg, I'll add whatever Crisco I'm going to add, and I whisk that together and let it make like a little slush. Then I add my milk, I whisk it some more. Then I add in the Crisco and then I stir that all together, and then you pour it into the pan and let it cook. And then I'm probably going to drizzle it with a little bit of my honey when it comes out of the oven. Now, if I want it to be real nice, I could do a tablespoon of butter with a little bit of honey, whisk that together and make like a honey butter. I'll probably do that for them, because that would just be delicious. And then you just poke holes in the cornbread, let that honey butter like seep down into it. And I am going to do that for them. Actually, now that I'm saying it out loud. Yes, yes, and yes. This is why everybody that lives here don't never want to go nowhere. Like, I think people think that I like put things on my family and I make them eat a certain way or whatever. I'm like, no, when the food is good, you don't have to beg them to do it. And I need to turn this TV down or off because there's not a child in sight and that TV is just going. And the dog was sleeping. He just looked up at me like, what are you doing? But yeah, I don't force them to eat like this. Now, there are certain things that I will do just to make sure people aren't going super hard on junk food, like the little bento box experiment that I had them start. See, and this is good. I'm glad we're talking about this. I started that, whatever day that was, I said I was going to. You have to listen to the previous podcast episodes. We are, I think, a full week into doing it. Like, we did it all last week. And we may have done it the week before, like at least a couple days out of that week before. But anyway, we're at a place now where they will come down here and they are making their own bento boxes. Like, I'm not even having to do it for them. I did it for them the first 2 days, I think. And then afterwards, they took over and now they're making their own bento boxes, which lets me know. I'm like, as long as the stuff is readily available and it's not too difficult for y'all to assemble, meaning you don't have to do a whole lot of chopping. You don't have to do too much to look for the dips and all the stuff. They have been making it, and they have been doing a fruit, which for the most part, they either pick a cutie or strawberries, right? So they're doing a fruit. Every day, each one of them has been doing celery and cucumbers because they like both of those. So they'll do like a mix of that. They'll do a few of those carrot chips. I like the carrot chips, so I mainly bought them for me, but I think they are growing on them with the ranch. They're getting to dip those chips in. So they'll do like a few of those carrot chips. And if there is something else in the refrigerator, like one night we had steak, like a little bit of leftover steak with that pasta I made. So they might put that in their box. Or one day I had a rotisserie chicken in here. So like one of them wanted a rotisserie chicken sandwich for their box. Like whatever, they'll add whatever is in the refrigerator to it. And they have been eating that on their own without me having to tell them or nag them about it every day. Which means if you introduce them to it, they will develop their own little system rhythm and their own habits. And I don't have to necessarily force them to do anything. And I think they too have learned that for themselves. Like, oh, if we just do this when she asks us, we really don't have to hear another thing about it. Like that lady will leave us alone if we just go ahead and just do what she's asking us to do. And that's the same thing with these dinners. With these dinners, I make stuff and I tell them, you have to at least try it the first time I make it. Try it. And if you don't like it, well, then you just don't like it. But if you feel like this isn't so bad, then when I make it, eat it, because it's another way for you to get your vegetables in. And the other thing about that is that I know we've talked about on the podcast is that foods marry really well together nutritionally, right? So it's fine. Like if you have kids that eat broccoli or Brussels sprouts, or they like cabbage or collard greens or whatever. And so you find that you're making their favorite thing and you're only ever making that one thing all the time because it's like, that's better than nothing. Number one, that's true. Giving them something is better than giving them nothing at all. Right? But number two, I personally, when I was in that situation where I felt like, oh, my kids are only eating like a handful of things now, I explained to them, it's fine that y'all like just roasted broccoli because they love them some roasted broccoli real bad. I'm like, that's fine that y'all love that. However, when you're only ever eating roasted broccoli, you're only getting the nutritional benefits that come along with eating roasted broccoli. The benefits that you get from eating all of these other things, your body is not getting them because you're not eating any of those things, right? Even when you think about eating protein, there are certain vegetables, right, that you should be eating with certain proteins, not all the time. It doesn't have to be perfect, but foods go together, right? And let's say if you're eating chicken and you eat your chicken with okra and stewed tomatoes, well, whatever is in chicken or whatever is in tomatoes and okra that your body needs, when all of those foods come together and they work together, you are getting them at their best. Like that's optimum nutrition for your body because you're eating a variety of things that work really well together. And that's where you want to be. You don't want to become a person who's only ever going to eat this one little handful of things, because then your body never even gets the opportunity to make the most out of those foods because you're not pairing them with anything that they go with, right? So I don't know. I be explaining the science of food and how nutrition works to them, so that even if, and I tell them this, I'm like, so even if you grow up and you start making choices that are unlike the choices that have been made for you your whole life, you'll know the difference. Like you will know that like that's not what your body likes. I won't even have to tell you. Your body's going to tell you. But you'll be grown and you won't be living with me. It won't be my money, won't be necessarily my problem unless you get sick enough that it does become my problem. In which case, I'm going to revert you back to your default setting. And we're back to eating all of the things that are colorful, bright, clean, good, and nutritious for us. But when I serve them to you, it is somehow very delectable and delicious. Because I try to make it so that it will be easier for you all to eat. I don't know children that, would be like, oh, yay, she's making stewed tomatoes and okra. Like, that's great. But when I told my 9-year-old that that's what we were having, like, he was actually excited because he remembered it from the week before. And he was like, oh, yes, this is going to be a great day. Okay, so those tomatoes have been cooking. I am going, not tomatoes, potatoes. I am going to go ahead and open this can of clams, but I'm not going to put the clams in there just yet. I'm going to just drain the juice over in here so we can start building the broth. And I'm using all of the juice from the can. So there we go. We got it. So now we're going to let that cook. Let that start swishing around. Okay, so I'm going to wash these little bit of dishes. I'm going to make our cornbread stuffing, and then let's come back when it's time to add the okra. All right, so I have added the fennel to our okra stewed tomatoes pot. That smells so good. I have also added the clams, and the clams are whole. They're not chopped. So I don't know how well that's going to go over. The last time I made this, the clams were chopped, but this time they are whole. So, let's just hope that once everything cooks and turns colors, that people will be quite fine with that. I also went ahead and added a little bit of chicken broth so that, we keep a nice good amount of broth or like liquid going in our pot. And I think I'm going to go ahead and add the okra now because our chicken looks really good. Like it might be almost done soon. And cornbread is literally going to take not even 20 minutes. So I'm adding all of the okra, and I went to the farmer's market on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, when I got home, I went ahead and like cleaned and chopped the okra, and like I had already prepped it for this moment. So I didn't have to chop or do anything like that now. And what I love about doing that with my okra is that I personally, do not come for me when I say this, but I think if you like clean it and chop it on one day and then it sits in the refrigerator, like in a good container, like I'm not saying sit it in the refrigerator, like not in a Ziploc bag or anything. If you put it in a container, which mine was a Ziploc bag, and you seal it properly, I feel like it takes away some of the slime. The sliminess of it all definitely goes away when you go to cook it. And so now I've added the okra to this, and we're going to have to come back in and add some more chicken broth to kind of keep everything from being too chunky here. And I know I said I was not going to turn this into a soup, and so far I feel like it's not quite a soup. Once it cooks, I don't think it'll be giving soup, but I don't know, because also the fact that the clams are whole is kind of like, it's kind of throwing me off a little bit. I'm fine with it, but now I gotta admit, when the clams were chopped last time, I think they were undetectable. Like, you didn't even know it was clams in this, which I think made it better for them. That's why they liked it, because they really didn't even know what they were eating beyond okra and tomatoes. So we shall see. If I have to dig out the clams for them, I'm perfectly okay with having more clams in my bowl. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add the Tonys. Now that all of the ingredients are in the pot, I'm gonna do a nice sprinkle into the pot, and we shake until we feel like it's enough. And we give that a stir. And then I'll just put the top on that and start letting it cook the okra. Because at this point, the okra is the only thing that is not really cooked in the pot. So we will do that, and let's check on this chicken. Let's check on the chicken. It was looking pretty crispy when I checked it last. And didn't I say 6:15 and it's 6:07? That's why I'm like, I know what I'm talking about pretty much almost all of the time, 100%. She's right on it. Am I not? Am I not? Now, one thing that I have not done that I said I was going to do was go ahead and do the cornbread mix. So let's do that together. And what do I need for this? 1 egg. I need 1 egg and some Crisco. And I don't know anyone who does not put a little Crisco into their baked goods. Some stuff I don't put Crisco in it, but like if I'm making cornbread or like a biscuit, I'm definitely adding Crisco all up and through there, and it's going to make it better. Let's see here. Some of this stuff in the refrigerator needs to go. Mikey, yeah? Are you going to eat the rest of this burrito?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
I'll have it right now.
You want it right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
How long do I warm in for?
You can do it for like
30 seconds.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There you go. Enjoy. Don't make it. Don't. Oh yeah. Would you like to make the noise that you make so the people on my podcast can hear your thing that you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. Ready? Set. Oh my God. He does that with his mouth. It is one of the most remarkable things.
What does remarkable mean?
It's pretty incredible.
Yay!
It's pretty incredible that you're able to do that with your mouth. Do you like cornbread?
What is cornbread?
You know what cornbread is. It's like the yellow bread.
I don't like that red.
Oh, you don't?
I only want the meat.
Oh, you just want chicken, so you don't even want bread. Well, I want
that savory thingy.
We will make the cornbread for the others.
Can I have the ravioli?
What ravioli?
And can I have the savory thingy, the salty thingy, and the spicy thingy?
Mikey, why are you playing with me? Okay, so anyway, let's make our cornbread mix. We are gonna get some Crisco. Was I getting the spoon out? Okay, so we're gonna get out the spoon, and I've already cracked the egg into the bowl. Hi, buddy. And so for cornbread, we don't need as much Crisco as maybe I would use for pancakes. When I make pancakes, I use a lot of Crisco because you want those bad boys to melt in your mouth. Okay. So we've got that. Now let's get my big whisking fork, which I feel like when you add Crisco to something, it whisks a lot better with a fork. An actual whisk is just gonna get the Crisco stuck to the whisk. But a fork, to me, does the job a lot better. And I think for Crisco, you do like a third a cup of milk. You add that, you stir, and boom, this is going to be ready for the oven. I have been updating my website every day with the things that I do each day for myself, for like self-care. And that's been pretty fun, having like a Dear Diary moment at the end of every day. I'll have to be honest and say I don't know what I'll put up there for today because I feel like today I woke up, I had my regular coffee time, I read my book, which, I mean, I guess that's what I'm going to put up there. I read my book. When it was time to actually like cook and feed the people, I got to Kroger with no purse. Like when I pulled into my parking spot, I went to get my purse and realized I had left my purse at home. And that is something that has kind of never happened to me before. But luckily, Kroger has Kroger Pay, and I was able to pay with that. Got back home from that, and then I started cooking this. And I think the lesson in the whole self-care summer challenge that I've learned up until this point is that during the school year, the things that I actually like to do feel more like a chore because of the pace of the day during the school year. Everything is rushed and hurried. During the summer, when they're not in school, I'm literally doing the same things that I would do during the school year, but that pace is not there. Like it's slower. Like I get to come into things instead of things being thrown at me. And I appreciate that. So I'm going to try to keep that going when they go back to school. I don't know how realistic that is to believe that I can do that. But I find so far anyway, I've been doing the stuff that I always like to do, which is read on the back porch, have my coffee. I like cooking different things. I like being able to take my time when I go to the store and just like not be in a rush. There are some things that I want to do this summer that I need to make the time to do. One of them, next week, I would like to go to one of the new bookstores that just opened out here near me. It's a Black-owned bookstore because I need to get my book for the beach, and they are selling it. The last time I checked their website, though, they only have 4 copies left. So I'm definitely going to call before I go because you know that's what you do when you're a grown up. You make sure they're going to have what you're looking for before you get out there. But I need to call and see if they have it, any more copies left. And if they do, I need to go ahead and go get my copy so that at the last minute, I'm not having to buy it from a place that I don't want to shop from. Amazon, I'm looking at you. So yeah, I definitely want to do that and be able to take my time, go in the store, browse, look around. I think they sell iced coffees, which I'm not a big iced coffee person, but just to support, like I'll definitely grab myself a coffee. What I do like that they have though, not that I'll be able to take advantage of it anytime soon because the next couple of dates for it are dates where we won't be here or like I already have plans, but they actually have writing workshops for people who either want to write a book or you're writing something in the creative space. I, number one, am pretty surprised at how many people are actually reading my daily recaps for this self-care summer thing. And when I saw that, I was like, well, maybe you should be utilizing this blog on your website more often. And I would really like to take some type of creative writing class. I mean, I took creative writing classes in high school. When I went to college, I was a journalism major. But the thing is, just because you have a journalism degree, it doesn't mean that you know how to write for fun necessarily. All of the writing that I have been taught to do and trained to do is of the reporting nature. Like, it's not the fun stuff that I would actually like to do. So I think taking a creative writing class or like a workshop or whatever would actually be pretty good for me. So I'm going to stay tuned to their website to see when they will have another one that I can actually go to, which might not be until these children go back to school. That's probably how that would work out for me, which is fine because, you know, between now and when they go back to school, I probably don't, I probably would not be able to actually use anything that I would have learned in class quite yet. All right, so let's stir up this cornbread mix. And when you do this, you might feel like, oh, I can still see chunks of Crisco in my batter, but girl, it's fine. And I'm only saying this to people who are like new to cooking. You might see chunks of Crisco, but it's going to melt. As soon as you put it in the oven, as soon as it touches heat, that Crisco is going to turn into liquid and it's going to melt and dissolve right into your baked good, whatever it might be. So let's see. Yep, that's nice and stirred. So now we will put that into a pan and put that into an oven. And I probably need to check my chicken because it is now 6:19. And oh yes, that chicken is brown like Bobby. Okay, let me see. Let's get it out. Oh, I love roasted chicken. Roasted chicken just never does me dirty. It never does me dirty. Like, ooh, girl. It never does me dirty. I mean, it's golden to perfection. And you can look at it and tell the skin is crispy. Oh, I love. And the way that is going to be so good with this okra and tomato clam situation. I'm going to make some rice real quick so that people can spoon their goodness over rice if they want to. And sometimes I think if you serve something with rice, it makes people more receptive to trying it and eating it. So we're going to do that. We're going to make some rice. But look at there. Look at this. Looks so good. Sometimes I amaze myself. I swear I do. Well, I think that brings us to the end. I'm going to pop the cornbread into the oven. And that is our meal for today. So hopefully this was a good way to share a recipe. I don't know if it was or if it wasn't, but I'm going to post this and then you and I can discuss its effectiveness after the fact. When you're out, compliment someone, tell them something nice about themselves, make another woman's day. Don't compete, don't compare, don't complain. What God has for you is for you, and never knock another woman's hustle. I will talk to you next time. Thank you for tuning in to Tia's Table. Love you, girl. Bye.